What does it mean to be in love? How do you know that now I'm in love? Is it an event, a series of events, a moment, or a point in time? How do you know that you're in love? And here I mean love with anyone or anything. That could be your vocation, that could be your partner, that could be being in love with living again. How do you know you're in love? And when you do, how do you sustain love? Hello, podcast pals. It is yet another episode of the With Purpose podcast. In today's episode, we explore the notion of love, and that is love for anything, its genesis and longevity. In the 1960s, Richard Feynman, an American theoretical physicist, explores and illustrates the inner workings of fire. And here's how he puts it. Imagine having wood, which ultimately contains carbon and oxygen, which is in the air, colliding with the carbon in the wood. With low intensity, it appears to be immutable. With the right force and intensity over time, this causes a chain reaction between oxygen in the air and the carbon in the wood. And this fierce exchange, in turn, causes a catastrophe. And that catastrophe, to the naked eye, is observed as fire. In one world, fire is a catastrophe, and in another, it is the most beautiful, wholesome experience and observation. And in the same way, love. Love is a catastrophe that tells a beautiful story. When observed externally, it is the apex of a smooth operation. It just works. Yeah? Oftentimes we hear, I want that Duke and Duchess of Sussex kind of love. Or for the American audience, that would be, I want that Barack and Michelle kind of love. Yeah? And that is because from the naked eye, it just works. I attempt to study high performers and state of the art craftsmanship. And my detection is that one of the linchpins to performing at the highest level, beyond hard work and skill, it really is that emotional inclination that high performers have to the craft. It is as if the deeper emotionally inclined they were, the better they were at the craft in every way, and ultimately establishing themselves as world-class performers. If you will, I would like for you to take a moment and think of one thing that you have fallen in love with. Could be anything or anybody, really. Do you remember how that deranged your life? Yes, deranged. The plans, the meetings, or arrangements you had to forego to fit this love into that tight schedule. Yeah? And you did not mind at all. At first, there was a spark, a hint that I think I like this. And then to it, a spark. And lo and behold, a long love story where you solidified and knew that, yes, I am in love. In a previous episode, we talked about the art of self-sabotage and how one psychological disposition could have them sabotage their endeavors. And at times, love is the same way. It hurts. It gets you out of rhythm. At times it is not comfortable. Well, we sure know that that pain really is the catastrophe that makes for a beautiful story to tell. In essence, what I'm getting at here is that, like Richard Feynman illustrated, it is uh, it is the beautiful exchange that happens over a period of time that causes the catastrophe. It is the beautiful exchange that you have with your craft day in and day out that marks you as the greatest of all time over time. The emotional inclination you have invested, that is the spark that causes the catastrophe. And the catastrophe is painful. Love is painful. It is when you're in pain and continue with the exchange in spite of the pain. It is when your teenage child no longer wants to hang out or give you that hug, and still you continue to probe for it. It is when that business isn't working out, and still you show up for work. Love is the catastrophe that tells a beautiful story. Hence the audience. I would love that Duke and Duchess of Sussex kind of love. The catastrophe that tells a beautiful story. And so back to the analogy here, it isn't the spark that sustains the fire. The wood is fueled and contains the scaffolding for the sustenance of fire. It has within its own DNA and genome programming a sequence, a memory that allows for perpetual snapping or exchange with oxygen, which is the formula required to establish what is observed as fire. And of course, which is long lasting, enduring, and useful to humanity. And so it isn't the infatuation, the crush, the puppy love, or the fascination you have with the thing, the person, or the craft that we call spark, although the spark isn't the sustenance. Just like wood and oxygen, the thing for which you have the spark for holds within itself the necessities for the fire, or should I say, the necessities for the pain. Yes, love is pain. It is pain that tells a beautiful story. So I submit to you, you have the scaffolding, the DNA, and the necessities for the beautiful exchange that over time will be the establishment for your greatness and high performance. Embrace the fire, embrace the pain, love. Cheers.